Well, Addie and I are on our way back. I was going to wait the other hour and a half for Texong to race and Chevron's bypass, but at the end of the day, it's been a long day, and I can give you the updates tomorrow, can't I? Of Chevron and Texong. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic for both. Both are in kind of odd places. I thought Chevron's bypass really would come out 2-1, 3-1, 9-2. It's not what I was expecting. And Texong Soprano, again, he's in a tough enough spot. This is Scotty's first start back. I think he told me it's his first, maybe just his first night back driving. You know, he's lucky enough just to take the winter off when he can. Maybe when I'm 108, I'll be able to do that. You know, I'm going to start this video. I had a tough time quantifying what I was trying to say. I had an email come in from somebody. You have to understand, the stable has this vast membership, right? With different people from all walks of life. Some of them are heavily immersed in horse racing. Been around for a long time. Some of them are younger, older, but you do have that group of people that have been in this business a long time. You hear me talk about some of them. Some of them, I don't know until they introduce themselves in that way, until they explain themselves. Those emails always start the same way. You know, I've worked for a number of Hall of Fame horse people, or you might know this trainer or that trainer, well-respected people. And in fairness, well-respected clients. Everybody's well-respected. And I had one of our clients say, Anthony, I don't think there's anything wrong with Irresistible Son. I just think that we always leave with them. And, you know, he's in a little tougher now, and he's become accustomed to maybe being a little weak on the end of it. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I guess you have to in some regard. Now, let me explain that. I knew exactly where the gentleman was coming from. In the old days, right, you managed your entire stable, and it stayed virtually the same. We're not talking claiming barns or stake barns. We're talking about overnight racing barns. You had to manage that horse all year long. So you couldn't put 25 quality starts on the board. There are starts where you had to run the horse up the wood, right? Maybe the horse is a little flat, like Sonny is. Take him back, put him on a helmet, have him finish. Take him back, put him on a helmet, have him finish. You hear me talk about this with Patrick DePerona. I don't like doing it. You know, I expect our horses to come out swinging every single week. And quite frankly, I've always said, Sonny's not a deep horse. He's just highly effective. Always was. It's a horse that just got nipped in 52-4 in Scioto last year. A good horse. But there is some truth to what the gentleman's saying. In regards to Sonny, under scope, in his blood work, there's not a lot of supporting evidence of having anything wrong with him. And it could very well be that he's a little flat. My answer to that is simple. Then he's not going to stay with us very long. Because I know in the old days, you used to run them up the wood and get their confidence up, and that might take 4 or 5 starts. Get them down in the bottom classes and then work your way back up. You guys know my thoughts on that. Not a big fan of it at all. Because on your way down, you're just wasting money and wasting starts. Patrick DePerona, when he's flat, is still effective if you drive him the right way. He was a winner 2 starts back, and he's not good right now. He's good right now because and I don't want to drop any names, but because the gentleman that wrote the email, you're right. In Patrick DePerona's case, he can leave with the car. But if you leave with him consistently, he's not super effective. You do have to run him up the wood, but while you're doing that, you can still put him in a place to win races. And Sonny's been left dropped in the 3-hole, run up the wood, but I have more interest in walking home from where I am right now on the highway than taking Sonny back to last, passing a couple of horses each week until his confidence comes up. And that is no disrespect to that thought process. But that thought process was from a time when we couldn't replace Sonny. Make no mistake. I'll make it as simple as I can. If Irresistible Son wants to race flat consistently like that, he'll be doing it somewhere else. I have no interest in coddling Irresistible Son. You're a 4-year-old now. You're expected to go out and race. There's going to be times when you're no good, a little bit flat. There's going to be times when you're good. I know he's a better horse than he is right now. A lot has changed also. As I said, it's the first time he's had corks on. He's had hobbles on his whole life. They're off. Took the head check off him. Took all the boots off him. So there's a lot of transition in Irresistible Son's life to begin with. And I don't mind ducking him a little bit, but he has to be effective. I have no interest in getting away 9th to finish 6th and say, another few starts, he'll be ready to go. That's straight out of 1978. I'm not doing that. And again, I say that in the most respectful way. But we're in a business where I can sell an Irresistible Son, go out and find a different variety of an Irresistible Son, and be effective. Because Irresistible Son's a name. If you can't do in the numbers of 5'8" at the Meadows, that's okay, because Mountains for All is almost there. And he will be effective in there. He showed that today. So I love Irresistible Son. I vouched for him. We turned him out. I brought him and Memory and Imagination back in. Neither have been super effective thus far. Both I know are better than they're showing. But again, both horses are horses that come back and don't have the hobbles on anymore. Are racing with corks on for the first time. Well, the latter excuse is going to come to an end because the corks are coming off. I think the last time you're going to see corks on any of our horses is this year. Is likely this coming Saturday and Sunday when it's going to be freezing. When I looked at the 14-day forecast, there isn't much on the way of freezing cold temperatures in the next 2 weeks. Now we're into almost the middle of March. I think we're probably safe, give or take a couple of days here or there. So Sonny can't do it. Mountains for All will move in there. And then Sonny will leave and we'll replace Sonny with a non-horse 3, 4, or 5 horse. And that's how we operate this stable, right? And I'm not trying to allude to the fact that way of thinking is outdated or different, but this stable does not run that way. And that's the message I was trying to get through. And there may be a certain amount of admonishment coming my way. Maybe the next email I get, well, that's on you. Your fault. You shouldn't have left him so much. You should have protected him a little bit more. I don't like the way you drive. It's a big club. You join that one. I think they ran out of membership cards. But this stable runs very well the way it runs. It's not perfect. I'm not saying this stable is better than the stable that gentleman worked with or for. Or if he had a stable the way that he ran his. I'm not saying that this stable is better than anybody else's stable. But it's our stable. And this is how it runs. So I want everybody to understand that, right? I'm just trying to continue to put all the horses we can in the best place they can be to do as well as they can. I'm not always going to be right, not always going to be wrong. But I don't have a lot of interest in kindergarten racing. You all right? Okay. Anyway, I just thought I'd start with that because this is not the first time I've got this email. It won't be the last. There's a million people, ladies and gentlemen out there, that feel the same way. Maybe they don't particularly like how we do things with some horses. That's fine. But before you pass judgment, I'd like you just to take a stroll in my shoes. We didn't get to running the stable like this just because. We didn't start running the stable like this. The stable runs the way it does now from all the mistakes I made before. All of them. Every time that I clearly was wrong, I tried my best to push myself in the direction of being right. So I hope you understand that out there. Before you look at a message, and listen, I have to say this also. You know, this time of year is very stressful for me. There's a chunk of the year that's stressful for me at different times. This is one of them. You sure you're all right, buddy? Need any water, any juice? Okay. If you get back an email from me and it seems kind of curt, short, rude, ignorant, it isn't, and I do apologize. There are some times where I've rushed myself through emails, and I went back and looked at it and said, come off as a real jerk there. That is not my intention. It might just be that you were the 45th email that I wrote that day. Maybe I was a little tired. Maybe I should have wrote the email tomorrow morning instead of this evening. So if you are one of the people that maybe got an email like that, I apologize. It's my fault, regardless if it's nighttime or morning. I should be more thoughtful and careful with the way I write my emails, but I am human, right? So let's get to the good part. Let's get to today. I mentioned Mounds for All. I got there in time to drive Mounds for All. Now, a lot going through my mind with Mounds for All. I would love to get him near the front end. He can't. He will get there. He will get there. There's a horse that's definitely on the incline. He is getting stronger and better. And there's a lot of improvements to be made. But he is good right now. Down the backstretch, I didn't think that Chris would come out in front of me. I just didn't feel there was a sense of urgency. And keep in mind that I can remember Mounds for All's only ever made 2 breaks on me, ever. They were both in the exact same place, starting into the backstretch at Northfield Park. Now, this isn't Northfield Park today, but I didn't want to chase him, get him going too quick and have him make a break and then say, geez, why didn't you just take your time with him? And if I thought there was a sense of urgency that Chris was coming out with that long shot, I would have. But I just didn't feel it until it was upon me. I just got him going. We were approaching the last turn, and Chris came out. Well, I could have stopped him out. This horse no good. I know he's no good. I just kept coming. I just filed him 3 wide and kept coming. Now, being 5th beat a length and 56 and 1, 28 and 3 on the end of it, 3 wide all the way around the last turn. Had Chris not come out, and I would have kept advancing in the 2 wide path. Mathematically alone, speaking in the literal terms, he's a winner. And he would have been a winner. I know Hunter and I hooked up after the wire, but he kept coasting it a bit. Hunter was coming out a bit, and then right at the wire, we just kind of locked wheels or whatever. Truthfully, I thought we were just going to be tight enough, and I didn't want to check him in case I just beat Hunter at the wire by a nose for 4th. So I just thought if I could just continue to let him advance, and even if we just rubbed bolts at the wire, I might have beat him for 4th. But as it turned out, he ducked in again just before the wire, and we hooked wheels. Anyway, it didn't matter. I wasn't going by him. And truthfully speaking, I think when the actual hooking of the wheels took place, it was steps after the wire. It was about to take place at the wire, but it didn't actually take place, I don't think, until after. Mounds for All raced enormously, and I think he's sitting on some very good miles ahead. I think he can I think he can win that class for sure. He draws south of 6 next week. I get away close. I think he's a winner for sure. And then he can do up in that class because, as we just talked about, he actually is a much better horse than Sonny right now. And you might say, wow, that's not fair. Well, hold on. He might have been on his way to being a better horse than Sonny last year. Broke his foot behind. Had that small fracture in his hind foot. Very rare, weird thing. It took an MRI to find it. May have been well on his way to being a better horse anyway, so it's not like he's just a better horse because. And then looks like money raced great. Off 2 weeks. I knew it was going to cost me to get to the front, but my biggest threat in there, now I get beat by Ronnie, but my biggest threat I thought was Hunter. If I don't leave, Hunter's just going to continue on to the front. I'm going to be 4th going into the first turn. Now I'm going to be first over from 4th. Not a cool place to be. I knew if I could just get in front of Hunter going into the first turn, that Dave would have to let me go. And honestly, I didn't think Ronnie could beat me. I loved the position I was in. Now Hunter's got to come from 4th. I thought I had him put away at the head of the lane, and I knew I beat him at the wire, and I really thought I won until I looked the second time, and I'm like, it's a little closer, and it's not like I was chasing him pretty good. I felt so bad for Diane. It was her birthday today. One of our partners on Looks Like Money. She came all the way, I don't know how far away she lives, She came down to the meadows. I saw her with her friend standing by the fence. Good luck. I tried as hard as I could, and I thought he was a winner. And just being off 2 weeks, and I'll be completely frank though, had he gone out and won this week, does the open fill for a while there? I guess him getting beat. There's nobody out there saying, "Oh, you lost because you wanted to race there next week." I was trying to win just about as hard as you could. It was muddy out at the start of the day, so I had rubber boots on. Like just kind of, they were rubber boots, not like big farmer rubber boots, just the short ones. But that wasn't me kicking the earplugs halfway down the lane. I hit him a swat, and when I went to come back, my foot slipped off the stirrup. And just for the slightest of seconds, I thought, oh my God, be careful, I almost come out of the bike. But I didn't. Thoroughly pleased with it. Looks like money. There's not much more you can say about that horse right now. He is racing awesome. Just off 2 weeks. It's not a horse he can train real hard in between starts too. He always has that old injury lingering. I'm like, better to come in a little bit short than to come in zinging tight and end up with some heat in that leg. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's been racing out of his skin. He was awesome today. Again, just picked in 53-2. So a good mile from him. He continues to put up great numbers this year. But again, this is what I'm talking about. Looks like money was struggling in Ontario, and they tried running him up the wood and taking him back. But when you're in too tough, you're in too tough. That's just the way it was. And sometimes the horse's confidence does get beat up a little bit. Looks like money now is not the looks like money that was racing in Ontario the last 2 months of his time there. It was a shell of the horse he is now. He's got some pop to him now. That's the key. Racing them where they can do well. It's the number one key. You go on the track 3-1 or less, you're in a good spot. It's just it, right there. So, happy with the way the horses raced today. I'm going to train some horses tomorrow morning in the race bike. It's going to be a little chilly on Saturday. A lot of people asking, are we going to video on Saturday? Look at Tuesday. It's supposed to be sunny and plus 14 Celsius. We will be droning on Tuesday, I believe. Videoing on Tuesday. I'll talk to Steve and Curtis, make sure it's okay. But Tuesday looks like the day. So again, really happy with Mounds for All. I think he's sitting on a huge mile. Way better on a 5/8 than he was on a half. And he was good on a half. But he's sitting on a win for sure in that class. And I think the only problem with the numbers of 5'8" at the Meadows is it doesn't fill all the time. He can do in there too, no problem. So hopefully we can get some consistent racing coming for Mounds for All. Continue to get looks like money in. And you have to give a big thanks to honestly to Ron Burke stable. They raced those two open trotters Sunday night, right? The Tequila Talkin' won the open from post 8 on Sunday evening, or the backup class, whatever class he was in. The other horse raced in the class 2, I believe, or the open, whatever it was, and then come right back on 4 days notice. God. And if they're not there, the open doesn't fill. So thanks to him and Mark and Mike and everybody that filled the class. Didn't really want to get beat, but I guess I was going to get beat. It may as well be you guys. Horse race great. We got Time Is On My Side coming up tomorrow also. JK Victory is in tomorrow. A host of horses at Mohawk tomorrow night. An exciting 48 hours of racing coming up. So happy with the qualifiers today, especially in retrospect, looking at how bad the track was, how it seemed, what it was like. I was very happy with the outcome, and pleased with the schoolers and the reports back I got from them. Now we are going to focus on some race bike training tomorrow. Hopefully the track is good. For who do we got? We have Memento Mori will be training tomorrow. We go mile 210. He doesn't need to really be in the race bike. Arrowhead Hanover's going in the race bike for sure. Maybe Aunt Lily will mile 2.6, 2.7, back her up a little bit. Jason says she's coming good, which is great. I think we have 3 or 4 to win the race. Oh, gorgeous package. We go mile 2.1 with her or so. So some good training coming up tomorrow in preparation of qualifiers next week. And look to it, it's supposed to be -1 or 0 or +1 chance of snow or rain so far on the forecast for next Thursday. Not what I want to see. Although, it's supposed to be nice Tuesday. Westland Warrior starts a series next week. I didn't know that. I wish we actually had 2. We had lots of training in though. Him and our other boy, they race the series next week. Manhattan Money's not quite ready for it yet. I'm going to talk to Harry and see how he's coming. As I said, I thought he was about 2 weeks behind when I was over in Ontario a few weeks ago, so we'll see how close he is, what he's been doing. But Never Lose Felix is on point, ready to rock right now, so I think he's going to give that class as much as they want moving forward. I think he's going to get better and better and better over the next little bit. Country Dancing's on her way over to the Meadows soon. She's going to race in the series next Wednesday, so that'll be cool. The number of horses getting revved up and ready to go here at the stable. So, you know what? That's it for tonight. I got an hour before Texong Soprano races. I got 2 hours before Chevron's Bypass races. Good luck to all my partners on them. We'll talk about them tomorrow morning, but I think that's it for the evening. Addie's already called it a night. She's a trooper. I hope you guys had a good day. Again, my apologies to Diane. Sorry we didn't get there. I tried. I just got beat at the wire. And to all my other partners, looks like Mooney is fantastic right now. Mounts for All race, sneaky good. His line looks great, but his mile is even better. He was 3 wide from before the last turn, 4 wide coming out of the last turn, and beat a length and a half, 56. Big mile from him. He's sitting on a bigger mile very soon. And then really happy with what I saw this morning. Couple of them need to maybe come back with another qualifier, but for the most part, really happy with what I've seen so far. So with that, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night wherever you are. Talk to you tomorrow.